And I'm happy to have Nicole here with us today. But if you can, please post in chat where you're logging in from. Hit up that emoji button on the bottom right of the screen to let us know that that you can interact with us. I'd love to see to make sure that we have people here in the session. Yeah, I'm showing a nice group slowly starting to log in. Quetzal is back. I was thinking about you with this one, Quetzal, just because it was an LMS event, and I was hoping that you were going to be here. I was actually hoping you would speak. But let's see. Yeah, post something in chat. Can everybody hear us? There we go. Hi, Amy from Maine. Thank you. Appreciate you posting in there. And there's Katrina from Chandler, Meg from Harrisburg. Excellent. All right. All right. And before I get going, I do want to thank all of the speakers for participating in this one. Thanksgiving week is not the best time for an event. Probably shouldn't have booked this one for this week. What's going to end up happening, though, is I think we're going to be able to extend this one for a couple weeks and try to get more speakers. So now that you're registered for this, you'll probably see as time goes on, we'll have more speakers show up for this particular event because in December, there's more availability. So right now, we've only got 4 or 5 sessions, I think, scheduled. We'll add some more to it so that the event as a whole has a little bit more value for you. So I hope that that you'll be able to attend more sessions in the future. And so with that, oh, and one last thing, I want to thank Toddy Norum, who is speaking at a few of these sessions this week, for helping organize this one. Toddy really wanted to be able to support and pull this one off, and Toddy's been absolutely instrumental in producing this one. Okay, and so this one we're going to talk about Nicole Letoile. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
Yes, I thought I remembered it from AIDC. All right, Nicole Letoile, maximizing learning management systems, strategies for impactful learning experiences. Dr. Nicole Letoile specializes in transforming education from in-person to engaging online experiences with expertise in LMSs, learning management systems, digital content adaptation, and training. She creates accessible, high-impact virtual learning solutions. Nicole, thank you so much for your generosity in sharing with us today. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hide myself from the screen and let you take over.
All right. Thanks so much, Lois. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I know it's a busy week, a short week for most of us. So thank you for your time and for being here. It was one of those when I saw the request come through the Slack group around learning management systems and I saw the date, my initial thought was, oh no, I can't really take on another thing on my plate this week. And then but I saw the topic and I was like, I have to talk. I love learning management systems. I love this work. I was excited to have the opportunity to share some of that. So please give me some feedback that you can access the links. So I dropped in 2 different links. One is a slide view of what we're looking at today, and the other is from hello, Renee from Maine, and also the flip book link. Some people like that version of it. And when you open those links, you can download and have the PDF if you prefer. So just let me know that those are working well. So, all right, let's get into it. And I love conversational paced, and I love some questions and feedback as we go through. So at any point, go ahead and jump in, and we'll do some conversation to make this as engaging as possible. So I am curious to hear what LMS do you currently use, if you're using any or LMSs you've used in the past. Which ones are those, just to kind of gauge. Awesome. Brightspace. Yeah, me too, Renee. We're going to talk about that today. So I love sharing experiences on these platforms. Any others? Oh yeah. So I always say that wrong. Tutara. Some people, we say different, but so Amy, yeah, which is a version of Moodle, right? So it looks like Moodle similarly. Get Moodle. All right. So if you'd like to just drop in and let us know. Smart Fox. Oh, I've never heard of that. Skill Jar, heard of this one. Thanks, Catherine. Learn Worlds, yes. Seen that one. Played around with Learn Worlds a little bit. All right. So next question for you. When was the last time you felt your learning management system helped you improve the learner experience, and what do you like about it? So Workday and Moodle currently previously used Blackboard, Campus View, and Degreed. Oh, some others I haven't heard of. Cornerstone I've heard of and seen that in action. Oh, I love that. Thanks, Jennifer. Learning Cart, never heard of that one. Ooh, we're gonna have to like compile a list of all the LMSs we learn about today. Oh yeah. Creator Plus tools. Oh, and Brightspace. Aren't they awesome? They're great. So new to us too. And I'm also going to share some of the tools that are built in right within that Creator Plus and some of the H5Ps, which integrate with all of the LMSs we're going to talk about today. The pronounced Totara. I think of Totora. Totara. Thank you. Thanks, Amy. All right. So are you experiencing positive? Give me some feedback on when was the last time you felt your management system helped you improve the learner experience, and what would you like it to do better if you had the magic wand or a wish list of all the things that you would love it to do better? What are some of those top things that you're hoping for? Oh yeah, all tags and automations in LearnWorld have allowed us to create some really cool platform features that allow for individualized learning paths and more gamification. That's neat. Love to see it, right? The individualized learning paths and having some of that new technology that will be adaptive learning for new paths is great as well. Yeah, adding those features in. So you can put those in at any point, but kind of curious as to know, like if you had, like I said, if you could build or specialize in having the perfect LMS, the one that meets all of your needs, what would that look like? New tools have enabled more opportunity, just-in-time activities, right, that aren't graded or turned in, and elevate the experience. Cornerstone. Let's see. I felt like the LMS helped us create learning paths and go paperless. In the factory and manufacturing, we need training metrics. Am I saying, is it metrics or heat maps like I have seen in the SEER tech? Oh, yeah. Okay. Great. So what we'll do is we'll look at some of the key features, similarities, and differences. Join me in that discussion and then using H5P. So I have a scenario for us at the end to engage with, but I wanted to, for those who may be new to these platforms, talk about some of the features, similarities, and some of the differences. Within these three. These are the three that I work in the most. And so I don't build in authoring tools. I don't use Storyline. I don't use Articulate or any of those types of tools to build. When I build for clients and I build for projects, I build all within the LMS, all the built-in robust tools that are available in these three platforms. And so and that really kind of stemmed from an experience as a learning management system administrator for a Moodle platform. When I took on that role, we had a lot of SCORM packages and SCORM files, and we made the decision that for easy updates and revisions, as well as tracking the data, we were on a federal and a state grant fund. So it was really important to have the data clean and to be able to access it as easily as possible. So we made the decision a couple of years ago to no longer use authoring tools or SCORM packages and build everything within all the tools that are available. Some plugin tools and some add-ons, but really everything that was core to the platform. And so I wanted to kind of highlight how you can build robust and asynchronous learning as well in these systems. I know they tend to lean more towards the educational field or at the higher ed level, but I work with clients or business customers who built asynchronous directly in these. And it has been an interesting experience. And so I wanted to share some of those highlights and cases with you today. So let's take a look at some of the similarities. So when you're looking across at Moodle, D2L, or Canvas specifically, there's course creation and management. Like I said, it's pretty robust. You can do everything within there. You can build out your assignments, your multimedia. You can build out your assets, as well as in creator type tools, we're going to look at those. Yes, we want to avoid SCORM and trying to learn more about common cartridges that could send in the content and allow partners to edit directly in their own systems. That's yeah, exactly. Having the ability to edit directly inside the system is ideal. So there are also assessment tools, and what I like about and I like about all of them, but when I work within Moodle specifically, I always get the question of, can I have the feedback or the whether it's grading and real time feedback, can it be automated so that I myself don't have to facilitate this or be as involved? And there are many of those built-in tools that will automate that feedback and give, if it's a correct answer or the wrong answer, or just the ability to be able to provide that learner some feedback in the activity in the forums or whichever activity you're using. And so each of these LMS, they foster interaction, but they don't necessarily need to have interaction. And we've built in forums and discussions that can take a facilitator or an instructor out of that by creating peer reviewing, workshop type situations without having to monitor necessarily. So I'll take a look at some of those. Accessibility, I'll just address this, is, they're not perfect, but they do prioritize or have tools built in like most. I will say one has been more accessible in terms of, from my own experience of when I run automated testing tools to see which one is working well or more efficiently. So they do tend to vary, but they're not perfect. But they do try to prioritize that. We have great integrations. They can support Google Workspace. And if you've using Canvas before in the past, they also have a robust integration LTI system. And so each one of these can provide you the ability to integrate with other systems. And then we also can monitor and track. So they're all similar in that way. Minor details. I think there's a question. I see a Q&A light. Can I pull that up? Let me see. Is everything built in the specific LMS? What is the barrier when switching over the content over to a new one? Thank you. We are on a third transfer. So if we're, I guess, more Jennifer, more specifically, what are you moving from? Are you moving from, if you want to just list those in the chat, because sometimes it's easier to go, like if you're going from Moodle to D2L, it's possible. Canvas, they're all possible. They're not going to be 100% perfect. So Blackboard to Canvas. So, and it's specific, you're asking your question, sorry. Various switching over content. I think, well, we can talk offline, but I would imagine you're going to download those as just as the downloadable file, which I'm blanking on the name of it, the technical name of it, and then upload it and probably go through it. But it should be feasible, should be doable. Like I said, we can talk offline too. I love to solve those problems, but those are fun problems to have. I did it like that because I don't know if that's a fun problem for others here, but it is for me. So this is a comparison of Moodle, Canvas, and D2L. I also provided you a text-only version in case that is a difficult chart to read the text on. So if we were thinking about the three different types, if you were making a decision from a business perspective or from an organization, I always like to think about it as Moodle is the most customizable and the most flexible, but it does require having some, not necessarily an IT team, but having some experience in coding HTML or cascading style sheets, CSS. So there's more customization available, but it does require a little more complex training, and it also just requires having that back end knowledge or working with someone who does have some of that back end. And the other thing to think about is that pricing, right? So pricing for Moodle is free to have Moodle, but there's a hosting cost. And I link a sheet on one of the slides on how to self-host if you wanted to, or how much that would be. If you have access to a server and you wanted to minimize the payments to $15 to $20 a month to host a Moodle platform, it is possible. So for small business owners, one of my clients is a very small women-owned business by two women, and they provide education services to schools. They have consultants that work for them. And so they recently purchased Moodle and have maybe 200 users or active users that they want on the platform to start. So they were able to go with Moodle and go with a partnering, a self-hosted partner, or excuse me, not self-hosted. They went with a partner and had a lower cost for that. And they could have gone even lower had they decided to self-host. And the other thing we would think about is too is that, again, the audience size. So D2L, a little more expensive, large enterprises, scalability, maybe things that we already are familiar with in terms of, we know how learning management systems tend to have, based on users or active users, a price point versus a, depending on, this is the monthly fee for this many users, right? So that audience does, and it tends to go from, and I put it in that order specifically, it goes Moodle, Canvas, and D2L from what I can see from pricing when I work with my customers in order to do that. One thing about some of these platforms is they can be linear, or they have limited features, is what I hear often. It depends. It has simple or quick linear processes to them. However, that does help with designers, and there's low learning curves to consider that. So you can go in and look at this text only version, which will just lay that out in a different way for you. So again, to think about Moodle specifically, it's free, open source. You can download that. Anyone can use it. You can either host it yourself, or you can pay a partner to host and manage and train. And then you can also, consider working with other folks. There are people in our group in the communities that we're part of that will do this work as well. They'll host and they'll do the technical side of it. I don't. I like to stay on the design side, but I can point clients in that direction. So the Moodle features. So what does it offer, and why does it stand out? And so just curious, for those of you who use Moodle that are here, if you wanted to say, what are the things that stand out to you? What are the things that that maybe drive you a little nuts about Moodle? maybe a little bit frustrating. I know for myself with Moodle, I get a little bit frustrated with just formatting, like formatting font, or wanting to make something look slightly, different color or code, because you kind of have to go back into having that HTML and lean back on some code and certain themes to be able to format in Moodle the way I like. So if there's things that you like, and Totara is also similar to Moodle in that way. But again, it does have the flexibility, and I really like that. And so that's why it stands out. And then also it stands out because it has so many plugins and so many add-ons that you can put into your platform. The one thing that I would say too is to consider is when looking at offline compatibility, that Moodle definitely has the ability to run offline, and that can help benefit users who maybe have unreliable internet access and have that far reach. Adding courses are easy, and it takes a lot of different formats, but I feel like we don't use the plugins enough. Yeah, so adding in a course is really, what I would say, simple module. Let's take a look. I have some, these are linked to Moodle. These ones are linked to Moodle, but this one here, let me see if I can pull this up, and I will make this bigger for you. So I'm just going to take a second to come off script here. Go to Moodle. Where's my Moodle? Okay, Nicole, where are you? All right. So Moodle what we're looking at here is a screenshot. Yeah, steep curve. Yeah, for sure. So on the left-hand side of my screen, I have a screenshot. And so you're seeing Athena K-12 education consultant. This is a business client, and the way that it's laid out for them, they're on the work Moodle. There's work and edu Moodle. There's two versions. And on the left hand side, we have an index, and it's nice because you have all your modules. You can design, navigation is pretty easy to use. And so within that, you have the flexibility, but you also have some of those built in core tools, and you have built in plugins. So let me see if I can find you a plugin. We'll go down to, well, this one. So I'll just point this out too. So there's these built in abilities to restrict within Moodle and to restrict. So your modules will unlock, and that's also nice for asynchronous, right? So if I complete module one, then I can move on to two, and everything's built in. And like, for example, what I'm pointing at here is an icon that says pedagogy versus andragogy, and there's a little icon, and that icon is, it's blue, it's white, it's got like a line through it with some circles, and it's a lesson inside. And so it has built-in questions, it has built-in interaction within that um, activity, and then there's a reflection or a form underneath it. Do you have to use Moodle modules? I like having a main page where you can click to get. No, you don't have to use modules. You can, that's just one of the formats, right? So the nice thing about Moodle or Totara is that you have the ability to customize, and you have the ability to decide if you want one per page or all of them per page. And you can also do tiles now, which are not accessible, or not as easy to navigate to. So I would say accessible. Keyboard gets tricky, but also we just have to think about navigation. That's one of the things about Moodle too, is that the formats will change. You might lose the index on the left-hand side. So if I come back up to the other picture I was showing you, on the left-hand side, we have a module index or a lesson index, and some of the formats you select, that will go away. So, so I just wanted to take a look at that one. I also want to pull back up this and show you another image. So what's on my screen is a Moodle activity and resource screenshot from the Moodle course. I also provided you a screenshot description of the image because it was too long for the alt text. So the Moodle activity and resources, like I said, are pretty robust. And so things like if you're looking to get quick feedback, quick journaling, quick, sometimes you're looking to do a quick check for understanding, quizzes built right into the system. And these are the core, these aren't the plugins, they're the core Moodle, and the H5P is also part of the core as well. So I'm going to show you some examples of H5Ps, but you can take all of these activities and resources and build out a course. So it's pretty robust compared to others that I've seen. So when you go, I think it was Learn Worlds, or maybe it was one of those. After building in Moodle for so many years, then moving over and trying to find, I was looking for myself to put my own courses inside an LMS that was affordable to me as a business owner and a freelancer. And I was trying to build that, maybe, oh no, it was Thinkific. And I was a little bit disappointed because I had gotten used to having the tools readily available to me right inside the platform along with the plugins. And so making a switch over to something else didn't feel as effective because I was losing some of those tools. So again, the showcase, let's take a look at Canvas. I'm going to skip some of these wordy text slides here, but also, you can Canvas, if you're familiar with Canvas or you'd like to try it out, you can get a free instructor account. And so again, as a small business or a freelancer, you can create courses in Canvas and run them. I have done that. And I also have some clients that work asynchronous in Canvas. So Canvas has the reputation of being higher ed focused or K-12 focused, where you have an instructor and you're facilitating. Recently, I can pull up again this case study here. I had a client, a company that had never used Canvas. They were new to it, and they also were new to asynchronous learning. And so for those, they wanted to build inside and take facilitated sessions and make them module based. So here's an example of what that could look like inside Canvas if you are using some of the coding and some of the templates that exist. Because Canvas is simpler and it has that very linear feel to it, you can get creative with the code or get creative with the design to bring up that user experience or that appeal. And so that's an example too. You can take a look at these. And here's an example of an H5P, which H5Ps are interactive activities that, so like flip cards, dialogue cards, sometimes called those. Interactive video is a very popular one. I'll show you some more examples. So like, for example, building right inside Canvas, taking some scenarios, putting them on flip cards. Flip cards are accessible with keyboard, so that's important to note, that you can take something like this and put it inside a discussion or a forum. So discussion and forums, usually you post once, you move on. If you can build in using an H5P tool. So here's a scenario, put a bunch of them on the flip card. There were about 3 prompts, and then underneath it, engaging in those. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. So there's ways to make these inside the system, a little more robust in building right out without having to build it in a separate authoring tool. And so using H5P inside a forum could do something, an interactive or get that meaningful discussion going, and then set that discussion inside the forum where you have to not only post but also engage. And so before you could move on and kind of lock or restrict inside Canvas. So it has the ability to do that. So let's take a look. Again, the hosting is through infrastructure, and prices will vary on size. All right, and now we're at Brightspace. Let's look at D2L. So what's on the screen is another screenshot directly taken from a D2L course. And these are part of the Creator Plus tools. And you can, within a page or wherever you're building out, you can insert any one of these to create some, more of a design appeal, more of an interaction within some meaningful content. And so, things like the flip cards, again, I try to stay with the ones that I know are accessible. Sometimes the ones that are not accessible, like a hotspot, I tend to stay away from those. So these are, and if you have examples of accessible ones, I would love to know and see them, because we could certainly create a database of all the ones that and show people how to do workarounds. That'd be awesome. So you can go into a course in D2L and do the same thing. H5P is now in D2L as well. So all 3 have access to H5P. If you Moodle, it's free. It comes with it. And Canvas is an add-on. You'd include a subscription. And then D2L is now included in the Creator Plus. And so also has the ability inside to list activities, drop downs, blanks, fill in the blanks, multiple choice, sequence sort, true, false, all built right within the LMS itself. And don't have to pull anything in from anywhere to create those. So we can take a look at, just kind of take a quick look at what it would look like on a front page. So this is a screenshot of a course that I'm building currently right inside the platform. And it does have easy navigation, similar to the one with Moodle, where maybe on the left you had an index of the ability to collapse, unclaps, and move around the page and navigate. D2L has the ability to go inside a module, and again, linear next, with the next arrows and moving throughout the course. Canvas a little bit trickier. You have to sometimes you can move from page to page, but you also I always tend to I'm gonna show you this because this is something that is also important to note when working inside the platforms when you're navigating. If they don't have um, if you're not always coming back to a home page, because that can get a little confusing too. So there's a home button. I always add a button, return to modules for Canvas. I don't know if there's any Canvas users out there. One of the things that happens is you have a next, um, and it gets a little tricky. So thinking about in these platforms, how do I make it really easy to navigate for the learner or the user to return to where they need to go so they can quickly return to module. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at some examples and I'm going to pause. What questions do you have? What are some of your thoughts so far on any of these platforms, of these new to you? Seems like we've all have experience with some of them. Anything you want to share? I can show you a couple examples of Flipkart, the documentation tool, video, and then I want to show you a branching scenario inside H5P, again, which can go in any one of these platforms. Okay, so let's do that. Let's take a look at. I'm going to go right to the branching scenario. So this is inside Canvas, and this is an H5P that is embedded right onto a page. So this is the page. Okay, and then there's a scenario simulation that was built inside and embedded, and built inside H5P, embedded into Canvas. Um, if you have Canvas, Moodle, or Brightspace, you're not, when I say embed, you're not leaving you're not necessarily leaving out of the platform and going into H5P. In some cases you might, some cases you're just building inside the content. It's called a content bank. So in Moodle, everything is done right there. So this one, you have them set up as slides and you can provide choice. You can give feedback. And so for this example, let's say if I choose the correct answer, I think, or I'm just going to choose anyone. Great choice. You can give feedback. Now, had I not checked the correct answer, let's see what you could give feedback. It would give some type of correction, some more information, and then I would proceed to the next choice. So that's an H5P branching scenario that can be built right inside. And having used H5P, I'm familiar with genealogy, embedding it in LMS and websites. Can anyone compare those two? Yeah, great question, Meg. I am not familiar with, is it genealogy? I'm going to say those wrong. Apparently, I don't pronounce genealogy. Genealogy? How do you pronounce that? So if anyone can compare that for Meg, that'd be great. So let's take a look at another one. We have interactive video is the other one I want to show you. So a lot of times in courses that we're creating asynchronous formats and we would like to pause the videos. You see these a lot in the Coursera courses or LinkedIn courses where you'd have a question might pop up inside the video. Some more flip cards. This is, again, you create your video, you put it right into in H5P called interactive video, the link itself. It will generate it into a place where you can pause at any point and ask different questions. There's a variety of choice, not just multiple choice that you can add. You can also just do pop-up with statements. And these are able to pause and start and create some kind of interaction with the learner throughout the video. So H5Ps built into your LMS create a more of a wider or more of a interactive experience with a robust built-in tool system that you can use for analytics, reporting, keeps it clean, keeps everything in one place. Is I like to think of it versus trying to work with the SCORM packages and other authoring tools. And I have a scenario for you to consider. Oh, one more thing. I wanted to show you a documentation tool. So another H5P, the documentation tool within a course. This was something that was really important to one of the customers in Canvas. A lot of their work is facilitated and collaborative, and so to move to an asynchronous format was tough. But it was about them trying to reach a larger audience, getting their content a little less expensive for more folks to have access to. Their equity leadership organization, and so they wanted the learner to have the ability to put information into the tool, into Canvas or into the course, but then take it and have it as their own and maybe collaborate on it. So this one would allow you to pause reflective questions or action plans and individually, and then it exports it to a page. It can export it to Word, it can export it to a Google Doc, and then they can share and collaborate and build out a resource of tools. So that's another way to make an interactive or make something collaborative with inside one of these platforms is using a tool like this. So let's see. And then the scenario that I had that I was going to ask you to think about after looking at some of the examples that we had here are, so thinking about it, if you had to design a course, this was for conflict resolution strategies. You want to make it meaningful and you want to make it experience, and you're working with either one of these platforms. This is your plan. You want to have a short video with some key conflict resolution strategies. You want to have an interactive scenario where folks can choose how they respond to a conflict. And then you also wanted to have some kind of reflective question, how they would apply it and take their learning and make it meaningful and bring it into their personal or workspace. And so how can you make these activities impactful, and which LMS would you select and why? And that's where I'm going to stop the presentation, let you think about that. And maybe we can engage in some discussion. If there's any other questions we didn't get to or anything more specific that you want to bring and ask the group, we can do that too. Just trying to make an interactive image with hidden hotspots. I was going to test for that. So in an H5P I want to give you this link. I have a H5P link about accessibility. So if you look at the H5P website and you look at their chart for accessibility, it will say more of these are accessible than not. I looked at this one that was tested by a third-party tester and was non-biased. And so you can take a look at that one. It tells you which ones have workarounds, which ones need to be replaced with a different one. So there's some more information there. I don't know about common cartridges, importing these different LMSs, but I will probably go down a rabbit hole today, Googling it, looking at it. Anyone have anything they can share with Meg about this? I'm not familiar. You do. Yeah. All right, Lewis, I think I'm wrapped up. I've shared what I wanted to share. And
fantastic. This is great. I didn't realize we'd have so many LMS nerds in here. This is so good. I was like, oh wow, this is stuff I have no clue what they're talking about right now. So it's really fantastic. I love to see it. I'm just checking to see anybody, if you want to post anything in QA, Let's see. We had the
Yeah.
one question. Other than that, I think, Nicole, that you're good. This
All
is
right.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to, if anybody wants to reach out and set up a chat, love to do that and learn some more of what people are sharing here. There's some questions and things that we could probably explore together. But thank you, Lewis. Always appreciate the opportunity to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you coming in here and generously sharing your knowledge with us. I want to remind everybody at at about noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, Toddy's going to be back with creating a charter between stakeholders and the importance of stakeholder mapping. So please return for that. Thank you, Amy, Selena, Katrina, Meg, everybody that was posting in chat. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. All right.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody. I'm going to go ahead and
Have a great
close it
day.
out.
Have a great week.